Spotlight Endometriosis. I am your host for the evening, Amber Grant. We are a smaller number tonight, so it will be an intimate setting, but that's okay. The information will still be shared. We are live on Facebook to those who are following us there. And you can tell your friends and your family to check us there if you don't have the link. So we're going to get right into it. Welcome again, as I said. Tonight, I want to acknowledge members of the executive who are with us this evening, as well as new members who recently joined the TTEA. Welcome aboard. We hope that the information that is being shared is something that you can find beneficial as we continue this endometriosis journey, right? Tonight, I'm going to jump right into it. Our special guest for this evening is the Vice President of the TTEA, and that is Miss Medixia Brooms. Now, Medixia is a licensed midwife, and she's a registered nurse. She's currently attached to the surveillance unit in the Chaguanas cluster under the North Central Regional Health Authority. She has served in the public health care system for the past 19 years in the capacity of a registered nurse, licensed midwife, and breastfeeding trainer and counselor. She's passionate about holistic health care and believes that service to God is service to her fellow man. Now, if you know Medixia like we do, Medixia is one to light up any room. She's always laughing and always jolly, right? And I hope she brings that with her this evening as she presents. So Medixia, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, Amber. It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening to everyone, those viewing on Facebook, those of you who are viewing on Zoom. I hope that what we do this evening, and when I say do, I mean it, you will enjoy it and you will get maximum benefits. Okay? So good evening. Thank you very much, Madam Vice President, to the other members of the executive. I am glad to see you. It's been a while. Pleasant evening to you all. To other guests, thank you for being here, and we are glad to have you. So let me start sharing my screen. Just a second. Here. I need to share my screen. Just a minute. Oh, I can't do it from this week. Okay. Okay. Now. Just a second. Slideshow. Okay, are we seeing the screen?
Yes, we can, Medixia.
Beautiful. All right. So good evening to all. Now, the presentation I'm about to share with you was prepared by myself and Mrs. Dwinelle Brown-Harry, a medical social worker, a co-worker of mine. And we thought that it would be very apt to share it with you because you are so important. What you do with you is very important, even though you may not think so. You may think it is insignificant, but what you do with you is very important. So we go on to, so today we're talking about self-care. Now, what is self-care? And as persons who may have endometriosis or persons whose family members may have endometriosis or another health caregiver. When you hear the term self-care, what do you think about? You think about a conscious act, a choice. So you choose to do what? To promote your own health care, your own physical and mental and emotional health. So yes, self-care is that conscious act a person takes in order to promote their own physical, mental, and emotional health. It is vital to ensure you are caring for your mind, body, and spirit. Now, it can involve a number of things that are happening around you, and this may be taking a step back, asking for help, spending time alone, putting yourself first, asking for what you need, setting boundaries, staying at home, saying no, or forgiving yourself. And why do we look at all these aspects of it? Because a number of times you find yourself giving out of yourself. And there are times that you have nothing else to give. And it requires you to spend some time alone to rejuvenate, to recalibrate, to just build back up that energy store. Sometimes you have to put yourself first because you need to do what is good for you. Sometimes you're in a situation where you are asked to do a number of things that is beyond your limit, and you need to say, no, I cannot do it, or if I can't do it, I need to get assistance to do it, and nothing is wrong with that. There are times you may have friends who are going out and they say, oh, you're so boring. But maybe this is the day that you need to stay at home and just do you. As well as you need to set boundaries to say, this is where I can know my limits. I know my limits, and this is where I can't go. I can't go no further than this, not with the resources that I have at this time, and stick to it. When you extend yourself beyond your boundaries, then you are pushing your abilities to an extent that becomes a stressful activity. And sometimes you do that and then you are so angry with yourself, but you need to now come back and say, listen, I need to forgive me. I may have made a mistake. I am only human, and to earth to be human. I need to forgive me and know that I would have learned from the situation and I would go forward in that way. So now we're going to look at a video. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and share another. So bear with me.
Medixia, we are not getting any audio.
No audio. Okay. But could the host give me the ability to share my audio? Let me start it over.
Alexia, when you're sharing your screen, just click share sound, that button.
Share song as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I did.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start over the video. And I'm sorry about that. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Good. Nice. Here we go again.
Is your glass half empty or half full? What you see is what you get. If you are always focusing on what isn't working, you will always get more of the same. The word optimism is derived from the Latin word optima, meaning the best outcome or belief in the greatest good. Some people are naturally more optimistic than others. Ultimately, we all get to wake up every day and choose. Yes, choose whether we are going to be a glass half full or a glass half empty person. Many people are struggling to stay optimistic given the state of the economy, the insecurity of their jobs, their health, or perhaps not finding a partner to spend their life with. But just because you can find lots of reasons for feeling down and becoming a bona fide pessimist doesn't mean that you should. The fact is, optimism creates opportunity and pessimism kills it. Research has found that seeing the glass half full not only makes you happier, it makes you healthier and wealthier. Expecting good things to happen will lead to taking actions that produce positive results. Expecting only more bad stuff to come your way will keep you from doing the very things that might have minimized or avoided just that. Why not try focusing on what you are grateful for in your life? Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. No longer is your cup half empty, and you will begin to feel more satisfied. Gratitude can help you put life in perspective. When you have a negative thought, such as, my job sucks, spin that thought into, I am grateful I have a job. Start to perceive obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow and change and improve. Extend your gratitude to others. An acknowledgement might just be what someone else needs at that moment in order to act in a positive and loving way to others. One act of kindness has a ripple effect. Everyone on this earth loves to be acknowledged for who they are and what they do. When you have an attitude of gratitude, it is the same vibration as the energy of love. When you practice a mindset of appreciation, you will let go of doubt and fear and live in the presence of everything that feels right and good. Being in gratitude will make you feel good, and when you feel good, you think good thoughts and you do good. Until next time, focus on your glass half full so it fills up and spills over with goodness.
Okay. Yes. So we have seen this video and I'll let it sink in a little. Is your glass half full or is your glass half empty? Think about that. What are the things in your life that makes your life full? And what are the things in your life that you perceive to make your life empty? Our next exercise, as I said, today it's a do day. Our next exercise will be my emotional cup. And you're going to have to get a pen and a paper. Yes. Are you seeing it clearly? I know the picture could be a little blurry. So the first square on the top is, How do I deal with having an empty cup? The one on the left, what I need to hear. How you will know I need help will be on the right. What fills my cup underneath on the left, and what empties my cup. So you're going to get a pen and paper. I'm giving you 3 minutes. Some of you so good, you have your phones there. You could do little notes on it. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to at least do one answer for each category. How about that? So you have 3 minutes. How do I deal with having an empty cup? That's the first category. Next category, what I need to hear. So I have a cup and I want to fill it up. What do I need to hear to get my cup filled? The next category, how you will know I need help. So am I able to ask for help? How do I ask for help? How do I let others know I need help? That is that category. And the second to last category will be what fills my cup, what makes me feel satisfied, what gives me meaning, what adds meaning to my life. And the last category would be what empties my cup, what drains my energy, what drains my resources, what makes me feel less than able. So we have 2 more minutes, and I can see your pen scribbling away. Yes? Scribble. So we're looking at one answer to a category.
Medixia, would you be able to put your screen to full screen?
It's not on? No?
No, no, because we are seeing your next slide. It's saying slide 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just a second. I didn't realize it didn't go in. 1 minute. Oh, I now realize what happened. I have it in presenter view. Just a minute. Okay. Now put it in presenter view. Okay. You seeing the full screen?
No, we're seeing you.
Oh. Oh, no, that's not a problem. I don't know what to do. Oh, I did a screen share. Sorry.
I think you have to share your screen.
Yeah, that is what I didn't do. I didn't realize it stopped. And then I share the screen and then go back. Now I do full screen.
All right, and enlarge the page now.
Yeah. Good. So if I put on the presenter view, would you all be seeing it? I'm not supposed to. Are you still seeing it like that?
Yes, you're seeing it now.
It's good now.
You see? Okay, good. I think it's the progression of things. So I guess your 3 minutes has gone. And we're going to go. I would like you to unmute your mics when you're speaking. You don't need to put on your video if you don't want to, but I invite you to unmute your mic. And one at a time, you can put your hands up and we'll spotlight you. Is that okay, Fadwa?
It's okay, Madexia.
All right, thanks. Drive there, good. So put up your hand and we'll go to you. Each person will take about 4 shares and you'll share because we are doing this evening. How I deal with having an empty cup, what I need to hear, how will you know I need help, and what fills my cup, what empties my cup. So who will be first? Any hands going up? Come on, don't be shy. We don't bite. Nobody wants to share? Okay then.
Okay,
Maybe okay, Amber is sharing.
Oh, look, how many wants to go? Let Harmony go. Let Harmony go.
Okay, Harmony, you're up.
All right. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good evening. So the first one, how I deal with having an empty cup. I need self-time. I need time apart from others where I can reflect and actually engage in what I call spiritual rejuvenation, right? So that's one. What I need to hear is that you have done well with what you have, right? That's the affirmation that I would like, not just from those that are around me, but for myself, because at times we can be so hard on ourselves. You have done well with what you know or with what you have. How will someone know that I need help? That's it?
Yes.
When I'm very quiet. When I'm really quiet, you could say definitely Harmony, something is wrong. How can I help you? Okay. What fills my cup is praise. That moment where you feel that okay, you have nothing left to give, and you come apart and you just spend time with God praising and actually going through the promises and claiming them. And what empties my cup is, I think, is basically when I don't put myself first, when I don't fill me so that I can fill others. So after I have given without me being filled, then my cup is empty. And that's it for me.
Thank you for sharing. We appreciate your share, Harmony. Thank you so much. Amber?
Okay. How I deal with an empty cup. Emotionally, I get very angry. And then I have to take a step back and try and figure out how to stop my cup from emptying. What I need to hear, I need acknowledgement, a simple thank you will do. How do I know I need help? Or how others know I need help? When they realize I'm frustrated. And like Harmony, I get very, very quiet. Personally, so when I'm quiet, I could either be deadly and I'm planning my next move, or I really don't know what to do. What fills my cup? Self-confirmation and affirmation. And what empties my cup? Negative energy from others and self-doubt.
Thank you so very much, Amber, for sharing what is in your cup. Anyone else?
Madixie, I can try.
Okay.
I came in late
Abisha.
too, so please excuse me. Hi, yes. So how do I deal with having an empty cup? I think the first step for me is that awareness, recognizing that my cup is empty, because sometimes we don't always recognize that our cup is empty. So I think for me, I need to recognize it's empty. So it starts with awareness. Yeah. Then once I recognize it's empty, it at an emotional level, it varies. I can get angry, I can become frustrated, or I can become very reclusive and quiet. So it varies for me. It depends on what actually caused my cup to become empty. Yeah. What I need to, what's that? I'm hardly seeing it. What I need
to hear.
What I need to hear. Well, slightly different to Amber and Harmony. I'm a realist all the way. And yes, I will want to hear that I've done well and thank you. But I would like person to acknowledge, depending on the situation or what it is, if there's room for improvement. So I would appreciate some constructive criticism in this case. I would also appreciate some perspective if I'm lacking perspective, because sometimes depending on how emotional I get or how emotionally entwined I'm involved in the situation that caused my cup to become empty, I may lose that perspective. Yeah. So perspective would be really important for me as well. What's the other one? It says how you
will know I need help.
How you will know I need help? So how I would know I need help, or how would others know?
How would others know?
Oh, simple. I will tell them. That's how I am, straight up. So if I'm having a bad day, if my cup is empty, I'm not in person to know, straight up. My cup is empty. Today is not a good day. I'm not coping well. That's me right through. Or can I be by myself? I'd really appreciate being by myself at this point in time. That's me. I'm very candid. My candor could get me in trouble at times, but what fills my cup? Well, there are a number of things that fills my cup. Gratification, knowing that, you would have some sort of personal or intrinsic reward from doing something, extrinsic as well, coming from other persons. But I believe personally for me, I have to reconcile with certain things first. And once I reconcile with certain things first, and I accept it, and I'm gratified, then the extrinsic will be secondary. But primary, it has to be with me. Yeah? And what empties my cup? Well, there are a number of things that empties my cup, including myself. So it could be negative energy from others. It could be a disappointing situation, or it could just be me me just being me, or not being one to be responsible, something. But I think I too can contribute to emptying my cup, not just others or a situation. Yeah?
Yes. Thank you so much,
You're
Abisha.
welcome.
No, Abisha is our founder. So I welcome you officially and thank you for sharing. And I saw one other hand. Was there another hand?
Yes, from Tammy. Yes. Tammy, you can go ahead.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
So, where are my questions going? Okay. So, question number one, how do I deal with having an empty cup? Well, I personally know when I'm starting to feel drained, and when I feel that way, I self-isolate. I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to speak to nobody. I just want to be alone. What I need to hear, reassurance and honesty. I prefer people to be as honest as possible with me. how do I know? How do someone know I need help, or how someone know I need help? Nobody's never really know when I need help because I just keep tempting to myself. I like asking for help. It's something that I'm working on, but I really like asking people for help. What fills my cup? Time away from my phone, time away from people, praying, peace of mind. Ooh, peace of mind. And seeing my daughter genuinely happy. That smile is just, change everything. What empties my cup? Just giving myself so much to people and not keeping boundaries. A problem with boundaries. I set boundaries to protect myself, but still, you would always try to go beyond. Yeah, I need to stop doing that. And well, sometimes social media can really be draining. So you just have to isolate it from that, take time away from that. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you so very much, Tammy.
You're welcome.
For sharing. And we really appreciate each and every person who shared. And you would have shared from your perspective from within you. And that is what is important, recognizing at this point in time what is in my cup. So now that we've identified things within our emotional cup, we're going to explore what are some of the types of self-care and how we can refill the cup by taking these ideas and putting it into a realistic plan in our lives. What do you think about that? So we see on the screen there are 5 types that we're looking at today: physical, social, mental, spiritual, emotional, self-care. So what is physical? This involves caring for your physical needs by fueling your body and ensuring you get adequate rest. 6 to 8 hours a night is what still is recommended. It is also important to attend healthcare appointments, take your medication as prescribed in managing your health. And this would be such as a prescribed diet. Some persons are hypertensive, some diabetic, some have high cholesterol, some are have cardiac disease. So it would require you to eat a specific diet that you are prescribed, to regularly exercise. And persons who have endometriosis in addition to, or endometriosis alone, would require a certain type of regimen as well, because you would have to eat differently. Your physical activity would be different. And there are things that you're going to need to do to increase your energy levels as well as reduce your pain. So for you specifically, persons who have endometriosis or persons who are caring for others with endometriosis, your physical self-care is very, very important. It's very important because it impacts on how you're going to be able to deal with activities tomorrow directly. Social self-care. What does that refer to? Your bonds, your emotional bonds, friends and family. And these are connections that give you support. It's like you have a band of matchsticks together and you try to break it and it won't break. But if you take one stick alone and you break it, it breaks. So your connections, your bonds with persons are like this group of matchsticks together. It forms a solid exterior and gives support to each other. And the problem is that sometimes we get so active and our lives get so hectic and overwhelming that we tend to cancel our plans with family and friends and withdraw. It is important to be available for social interaction. This has become especially pronounced over the last 2 years especially during the COVID period where we have to limit our interaction. So in addition to that, you have persons who with endometriosis now. When we look at that, we're looking at persons who don't feel like interacting because of their physical feeling. And as a result, they disconnect because they don't want to feel inadequate or as a killjoy, as some persons put it. So what do? They kind of take all the energies that they have and they put it into one area and they block everybody else out. But one example of having social self-care is calling a friend. So you feel that you are inadequate. You feel that this pain is so immense and you just can't deal with it. You get on the phone and call somebody and just talk or cry. And that gives you that social connection and gives you the feeling of being supported. And in that way, the happy hormones start to flourish in your body and actually reduces inflammation and pain that you would feel. Mental self-care. Now, if we fail at physical and social, it's going to start to affect our mental. And I want you to understand that. If we are not caring for our physical and social self-care, our mental self-care will be greatly affected. And what's going to happen? We're going to start to think morbid thoughts, negative thoughts, filling our minds with ideas that do not give us feeling good sensations in our being. So mental self-care is the way you think and feel, and the things that you are filling your mind with can greatly influence your psychological well-being. An example of this may be reading a book. And it's so important to fill your mind with things that will make you feel good. So the idea is that what is in your mind, even though your body may be saying, I'm in pain, I'm inflamed, your mind will be filled with such positive thoughts that it's going to override the feeling of stress in the body and help the body cope better with the stress that it is experiencing, and thus reduce your overall stress level. Spiritual self-care. This form of self-care applies to everyone, whether you want to look at your religious aspect, the atheist, or otherwise. So if you are a religious person, if you are an atheist, if you don't really have a belief, you still have to care for that physical connection that you should have. It involves anything that helps you develop a deeper sense of meaning and understanding or connection with the universe, with the world around you, with nature, appreciating the things that help you to exist. So we coexist with the things that are around us. We coexist with the trees. We coexist with the breeze. We coexist with the water. We coexist with other people. We coexist with animals. And for that, we need to care about these things. We need to recycle. We need to reuse. We need to reduce the amount of waste that we produce. And in that way, we find that we are taking care of our environment, and it gives us a greater sense of meaning overall within ourselves. So you can volunteer, there are beach cleanups. We have the eye care initiative being done, and you recycle your beverage containers, and you can do other things such as just maintaining the area around where you live, making sure that the garbage is not in the drain, putting out your garbage on time, Securing your pets so they don't tear up your neighbor's garbage. Simple things help to give you a greater sense of self, where you have a connection with the things that are around you, and your emotional self-care. Your emotional self-care is your ability to regulate your emotions, to cope with difficult feelings as they arise. It is vital to our happiness and overall quality of life. An example of emotional self-care activity is meditation or seeking therapy. And a lot of persons have difficulty asking for help. However, when you are unable to do it inside of yourself, it's very important to know your limits so that you can go outside of yourself and find that resource to help you to deal with what is happening on the inside. And that helps to give you a better feeling about yourself. So this is where emotional self-care comes in. You are able now to see that you are overwhelmed and not just give up, but identify this is your limitation and seek advice and help in maintaining that ability to cope with difficult feelings that you feel. And everybody goes through some difficulty in coping with different situations, and your emotions can be different. And I might be real laugh. I might be really angry and laughing out loud because that's the way I cope with being really angry, as well as somebody else might be really angry and they throwing down things all over and breaking stuff. And in essence, you want to be able to regulate your ability, because my laughing might be ridiculous and breaking things would also be ridiculous. So coping with the difficult feeling could be different for different people, but it is to show you that you are able to deal with the situation in such a way that it is not offensive. It doesn't lower your ability and your respect for others and others' respect for you. As we go, you can ask questions if you want. You can raise your hand. Now, I looked at a number of places that we could access help outside of ourselves. And Ms. Brown and I would have identified these spaces. You can screenshot it if you want, and I'll read it so that those of you who can't screenshot it can still get a little chance to write it out. So if you're having issues, you can go to visit a doctor at your local health center. Medical social worker is also there at the health center. You can also go to the stress clinic in your area. I am aware that there are stress clinics in Mount Hope Women's. I think it is located in, yes, Mount Hope Women's, and one is in Chaguanas, and don't think there's one in Arima, but you can go to Mount Hope Women's, that new building in front there in Mount Hope, and ask for the stress center, and you can make an appointment to speak with one of the professionals there. There's also the Calm Clinic there as well for teenagers, as well as in Chaguanas. They also have the Calm Clinic for teenagers who might be experiencing distressing thoughts, or, they just need somebody to talk to. There's the Calm Clinic as well. And the Ministry of Social Development, National Family Services, they offer a range of services to persons who may be a bit overwhelmed, especially during this COVID period. And their number is there, 623-2608, and the extension is 6150 or 6210. We have persons who might have other things happening with them and they need support. We have the Victims and Witness Support Unit in Chaguanas. Also, we have one, I think, is in St. Joseph. That would be for the Arima area. There's one in the Western Division as well. So you can also go up on the website, the police services website, and put in the victims and support unit, and you'll actually see the locations in the different districts that they have. And we also have a hotline for domestic violence. So some persons, in addition to having endometriosis, you have other life challenges. And domestic violence, due to the COVID, is also on the rise. And we've seen where women, especially, were victims to death. So we recognize that persons have issues other than endometriosis or are related with the endometriosis. And it's very important that you seek help. So this here 800 SAVE would be a very good number to keep and to use in such instances.
Madix, if I may,
yes,
the Victims and Witness Support Unit from TTPS don't give psychosocial intervention unless a crime has happened to the victim. So they are usually referred via police officers. Only if a crime has happened, then they are activated. You can't just call and ask like NFS and
domestic violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also Families in Action. They also give psychosocial intervention. That is paid though, but that they are not option.
Families in Action. So you all can look it up. Families in Action. And I know they have you can call in and speak with someone as well. So look it up on the internet and Google, Dr. Google provides all the cures for information needs, and you are sure to be able to find a contact number for them. Thank you so much, Amber. So I want to share another video with you. Allow me to stop the screen share. Now, this video is actually a 4-minute meditation video. Do I have 4 minutes?
Yes, you do.
All right, thank you. I'm trying to keep in time. And this meditation, I would like you to assume a very comfortable position. I'm allowing you to do so. Sit back, relax, put your feet on the ground, and if you're short like me, lower the chair. And we're going to do some breathing. Now, what we have found is breathing exercises helps to increase oxygenation to the brain. And it also does a number of things for our immunity. It does a number of things for our muscles in our body. It helps us to relax. It helps us to reduce this tension in the neck and the back muscles. And it would also help us to concentrate on specific ideas in our minds. Just a minute. So let me share the screen and the sound. I have to look for that, right? Good. Okay.
Mindful breathing. This guided meditation works best if you're in an environment that's as undisturbed as possible. Whether it's in a room with the door closed, or somewhere where you can put in earplugs or headphones and have some quiet time. Let's find a comfortable position to sit, whether it's in a chair, on a couch, or on the floor. Place your hands, palms down, on your knees. You can close your eyes or find a spot 6 to 8 feet in front of you to softly focus your gaze on. Now, slowly draw your attention to the weight of your body on your seat. Feel the ground beneath your feet, beneath your body. Feel the extension in your spine as you are sitting up straight. Now, begin to draw your attention to your breath. Notice where you feel your breath the most. Do you feel it in your nose, your throat, your lungs, your stomach? Just pay attention as you breathe in and out. Now, draw your attention to the exhale. Where do you feel that the most? In your stomach, your lungs, your throat, your nose, or your mouth? Now, let's focus on the rhythm of your breathing. Try to inhale for 3 counts and exhale for 5. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue counting this way for 5 to 10 more breaths. When you are ready, bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the solidness beneath you. And slowly blink open your eyes and take in your surroundings.
So I have to raise back my feet. Right. So I hope that this experience was for you as much as it was for me. I always enjoy doing these deep breathing exercises. I want you to keep in that zone as we complete our exercises this evening. And as I said, this is a doing session, so the activities are for you to do. We will want you to continue to look at your emotional cup and identify in that cup the things that fill it, the things that empty it. Identify what you need to hear. Identify what you may need to to say to others so that they can know that you need that that filling for your cup, right? As we said, your self-care is multifaceted. It involves your physical self-care. It involves your social self-care. It involves your mental self-care. It involves your spiritual self-care. And it involves your emotional self-care. And the basic things to get the activity moving would be identifying your physical limits. We start with that. Identify what needs to be done physically, because that is going to affect all other aspects. And then work on your social connection, building and bolstering up that support system around you. If it means that you have to find people who can put into you good energy, then you need to start looking elsewhere and not in the same places that you usually look. Right? Additionally, in terms of your mental well-being, the boundaries that you set, you're going to have to keep reminding yourself of those boundaries and not overextending your mental ability, because it's a line that you don't want to cross too often, because it will affect not only your psychological state, but your emotional state as well. And notwithstanding your spiritual self-care, understanding that you are not without meaning, you are actually purposed in existence. I thank you all for your attention, and I hope that you paid attention to the resources that are available. And if you have any questions, feel free. I'm here.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lisa Duki, and I am a member of the Board of Directors of the TTEA, and I will be your moderator for this evening. Medixia, Madam Vice President Medixia Blooms, I want to thank you for such an informative and well-prepared presentation, very easy to understand. One of the things while we were doing the meditation, the water from my fish tank is flowing. So that's even helped. It added to the breathing exercises. As I continue, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our founder, Mrs. Abisha Tusen, who's in the audience, and the presence of Dr. Kenneth Niles, who is counseling psychologist and our support system when it comes to emotional and psychological advice. So I thank both of you, and both of them in particular, for joining us. I also thank everyone else who's joining us on Zoom and on Facebook. At this time, this is supposed to be the question and answer segment, but it seems as though our Vice President did an excellent job, because we are not seeing any questions. You are invited to place your questions in the chat, but we're not seeing any questions. So that could only mean one thing, that Medixia did an excellent job. But before we continue, I just want to remind persons of our disclaimer, which this is very important. We must always read this at every spotlight. The information shared on this program is for general informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment for individuals. So please consult your healthcare provider if you have questions about your health or before starting any treatment. So we await. Okay, so Dr. Niles is asking if he's allowed to unmute his mic. Sure, Dr. Niles, you can. It is not we, it is I. Are we allowed to unmute to voice our questions? Sure, Dr. Niles, you can. Okay.
I was asking about me. I was asking about we as the 13 of us, or the 12 of us. If it's allowed.
Yes, yes, you are allowed.
Not am I allowed? Are we allowed?
Yes.
So we are allowed?
Yes, you are. Yes, yes, you all are allowed. Yes, you all are allowed.
Okay, I was what's the name? Brooms. You mentioned just now the threshold of moving from physical that may interfere or damage. I'm not sure that's the right word. Your psychological, emotional. It's like a threshold. How do you determine that threshold? How do you determine when you are reaching that threshold within your physical capacity?
Very good question. Thank you so much. Now, each person doesn't have the same capacity. My capacity to how to say, to cope with physical stresses could be completely different to, say, Lisa's one. What is important is persons have to identify signs and symptoms that they experience. So one specific one that I could tell from my experiences, memory. When you have physical capacity that is being constantly overloaded, you start losing memory. So your short-term memory, because you have low energy stored, you start forgetting things. And that's one of the things that will identify and cue you in that your stress levels are too high. You start forgetting simple things, like you just did something, you didn't know where you put it. Where did I put it? You know, I can't for the life of me remember. I now had my phone here. I walk outside and where my phone went, it walk. You know, that kind of thing. It's simple things that you can't remember. Somebody just give you an instruction, word for word, you know the words, but it just would not come back to you. And that is one thing. Additionally, some persons might start feeling so extremely exhausted that they fall asleep all over. They just sit down and fall asleep because they are so exhausted, right? There are other persons who, being exhausted, they take other supplements and whatnot to build their ability to do. So they are literally like real bunnies. They have to be active. They have to be moving because they are so hyped up on whatever things that they ingest. It could be coffee, It could be Cokes. It could be other caffeinated drinks that keep them going. And what happens is when they do rest, it's a crash. So they go so quickly that when they do have a stop time, it's because they have already crashed. And a number of energy drinks, a lot of persons who are doing studies on it now are showing you where if you take ingest too many of them, they actually have an effect on your cardiac activity. So you have to be very careful with how many you take when you take it, because you're supposed to allow yourself to naturally relax to go into sleep. It's not supposed to be a crash. And then the constant work, it means that, let me just take a little time to explain what happens. What happens is the persons who ingest different chemicals into their body to make them go. The chemicals work in different ways. They can open your blood vessels, increase the ability of your blood to move through the blood vessels because it increases the heart ability to pump faster. And when it pumps faster, the ideology is the more blood that goes to the brain is the better you'll think and the more processes that could occur in your brain. So you will be able to do a lot more activities and focus. But what happens over a period of time is you lose the ability to focus specifically on one thing without realizing it. And if you don't have the substance, you tend to not be able to cope with environments that allow you to naturally go down and relax. You have to move. You become what we call, like if you have jigger in your pants, like that. And it is going to have an effect on your heart over a period of time because the heart was made to function like that. And if it is the heart have to function at a high pace all the time, it's going to increase your blood pressure. Eventually, you're going to have a naturally high blood pressure. And it's going to cause, this is how it goes. When the pressure is so high, it actually hits on the walls of the blood vessels and could cause what we call aneurysms. Aneurysms is where there's a little weakening in the wall of the vessel and the blood vessel wall thins out. So you see where you might be taking something to help with your ability to concentrate and to get energy and to move forward in terms of your activities. But really and truly, over a long term, when you look at the effects of it, it is actually more detrimental to your health because in these weakened areas, if the blood pressure goes up too high, it could burst and you could get a stroke.
Ms. Bruce, I appreciate the education there, but my question begs, how do you discern that threshold?
How do you discern?
If there's an understanding of that, we would have less illnesses, of all those that you would have cited, the aneurysms, the heart, etc. Because I think there is from my perspective, from my seat, when people come to me with all kinds of psychological disorders, they would have crossed the threshold in terms of their capacity, and I agree with that, to handle psychological pressures or stressors. But how do we teach people where that threshold is? And I think that is continually the issue with practitioners or with mental health, with mental illness. We are not aware of the context or the variables to define that pressure. I have a plan. I have a whole day to do something. How do I know that my plan for my day is overexerting or throwing me beyond the threshold because I want to accomplish X, Y, to Z. I want to make sure that I can be heard, be identified. I want to be a professional. When I realize I can't, I have a time limit. TIME is a killer because we want to make it work. How do we discern that I do not have to finish all that I have to have planned? And that's where I'm at. I'm not denying all that you said, all you said, but that's special. How do you decide that?
Dr. Niles, as I was looking at it before, it is simply that persons have to know themselves first and know that when I get up in the morning and I get ready and I say I want to do this, am I going into my lunch break? Am I getting enough time? Did I take that 5-minute time for me to do some deep breathing? When the time, because we say time is the killer, so I need to identify what can be done in the amount of time, and I am guilty of that. I sometimes work through my lunch, work through my break. I don't even know when 4 o'clock reach, right? But the thing about it is, everything is time bound. So I know usually how much time it would take to do something. But then there are things that occur that may impede your ability to move forward and complete the objective. And if you're like me and you need to complete the objective to feel good, sometimes that is a killer because at the end of it, I know that I can speak from myself. I know that I've crossed the limit when I did not eat my lunch. I did not take a breather. I did not walk outside in the sun for at least 30 minutes at different points of times in the day to get in my vitamin D. These are things that I have to do for me. And when I'm not doing the things for me, then I'm affecting my self-care. And for everyone, it's going to...
We have to, yeah, I hear you, but it is, I don't think we have the answer. I think just it's the awareness that we have to take a risk for a risk. We have to take a risk not to be fired. We have to take a risk to be late because we hate being late and we rush. We get into accidents, we stress out, we cuss the red light, we cuss the green light, because we are always trying to be ahead of ourselves rather to be comfortable to be late. And I have been trying to teach people that late is not wrong. It is maybe why you're late. The procrastination, the time, how you manage your day, who eat the conflicts, those things. And why I'm asking the question too is in terms of in this forum, how do the women identify that threshold of pain? Because within all they're doing, that pain is they're creating its own threshold. So if I cannot manage my daily routines in context of managing pain, how do I then manage this pain that is creating that havoc, that either pushes me into isolation or pushes me into silence or pushes me to despair? And I think that's a very important factor that I'm
glad that you brought that up, Dr. Miles, because that is something that in the Endo group, the TTEA membership, and we have that support group there, and we have persons who would be in different specialties who actually give advice on managing the pain, because the pain of itself needs to be managed. Everybody's threshold for tolerance of pain is totally different. So everybody might not be able to tolerate the same levels of pain, but the management, once utilized well, could be applied in each person's situation. And it could be tweaked to your situation. Because one, it is a multifaceted management. You manage physical activity, you manage your dietary intake, you manage your stress levels. And that could be a little difficult because you have to manage how you respond to other persons, how you respond to environment. A lot of times the stress levels is as a result of response and allowing the energies to come in when we should just be putting out positive energies around us to negate the negative energy that wants to come in. And in that way, the pain threshold of itself would be identified, because you will know, I cannot brush my teeth today. I'm in such pain, I can't brush my teeth. However, I need to move because movement reduces inflammation and allows for the flowing of the oxygen to the different parts. And that is why I need to at least do some stretches. I might be able to brush my teeth now, but let me get my stretches, let me get my exercises going for me at this
time. How you say that now? You see, that's the issue. Why you have to brush your teeth? You don't have to brush your teeth. But you see, you said now, so that if you don't brush it at this moment, you're going to lose to brush it maybe down the road, which again is going to create another threshold. So we this could go into another cultural context. Anyway, let me stop here. That's interesting.
I am glad though, because it helps to widen the discussion on expectations, because a lot of persons have been given expectations that they are expected to fill. It is not their expectation necessarily, but it's expectations of the wider society. And these expectations are driving them to achieve certain things, to do certain things, to get things done a certain way. And then in the end, they are not satisfied. There's no gratification of self in it for them. It's just other person's expectations. So all of that discussion needs to take place truly for persons who have endometriosis, because your situation is so unique that it requires you to take a unique look at yourself and prioritize you at the end of the day. You have to prioritize you. So I thank you again, Dr. Niles, for bringing in that, I like the vision, I like the vision. I like what you just bring.
I belong.
Yes. I love it. So I thank you so much.
We're always happy to have Dr. Niles' expertise in our session. So thank you, Dr. Niles. So far, we don't have any more questions and we are running out of time. So I'm not seeing any questions from Facebook. I think that could mean one or two things, Madixia, that you did a fantastic job. Or it just means that people are a little shy to ask questions. I just want to, before we wrap up though, I just wanted to point out something, we have a support group and we know that we have a large number of women. I can't remember the statistics to be accurate at this point in time, but we do have a large number of women who are suffering with endometriosis. But yet when we put on our spotlight endometriosis, we tend to have very low attendance. And so I want to ask the ones who are present today, if they can, assist with putting the word out there and encouraging persons to join us and to ask questions, because sometimes asking a question, a person might ask a question and then may answer a question for somebody else, but the person might be shy, they might not want to ask the question. I like the idea that Dr. Niles introduced tonight, because usually we don't allow persons to speak, but Dr. Niles broke that, that tradition tonight. So I guess we will be seeing more of that in future sessions. So if there is nothing else, going once, going twice, I'm not seeing any questions coming again. I will now hand you back over to our host, Madam President Amber Grant.
You know I don't like titles, right, Lisa?
Yes, yes.
Is your title?
Hi, Caleb Swan, Nikisha Swan. If you could send, I'm now seeing to be added to the support group. Nikisha, I will give out my number, 682-0220. 682-0220. Send me a message and we will get you into the support group. So I want to thank those who attended tonight. I'm glad that we were able to actually participate. I like the asking questions that Medixia actually added, where you cause us to sit down and think. And I like the participation. I mean, not everybody jumped in, but for those who actually spoke, thank you. 682-0220. If Indra can put it in the chat for everyone, please. I also want to say that self-care really is important. I know for a fact as women, we tend to be guilted when we participate in self-care. Why are you doing that? You have a family. How you can leave the man by himself? How you can leave the child by himself? You're a bad mother. However, for you to fulfill all the hats that you have, your cup cannot be empty. And sometimes you need taking a step back. So I have started going to Tobago by myself for a weekend. I may go in a hotel with a girlfriend and both of us for the whole weekend, we chilling out. Bottle of wine and we got to go. That is for me to rejuvenate, recalibrate, recharge, and then come again. That's the only way we can really do what we have to do as women. So thus ends our second session for Spotlight Endometriosis. It will be remiss of me to not acknowledge Abisha. Thank you for joining us this evening, Abisha. Always a pleasure hearing from you and seeing you. So guys, thank you once again. Continue to be safe and do have a good evening. Bye all.